Thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet Voice You Know with the News You Trust studio, sponsored by the Family Forest Carbon Program, where we help family forest owners get paid to improve the health of their woods. Well, the cattle and calves on feed for the slaughter market in the U.S. for feedlots with a capacity of 1,000 head or more totaled 11.4. That was announced on Friday, and it's 1% below June 1 of a year ago. Placements into feedlots during May totaled 1.89 million head, 8% below a year ago. Net placements were 1.82 million head. Now, during May, placements of cattle and calves weighing less than 600 pounds were 335,000 head. 6 to 699 came in at 275,000 head. 7 to 799 pounds were 450,000 head, and 800 to 899 pounds were 516,000 head. In the 900 to 999 category, there were 230,000 head, and 1,000 pounds and greater came in at 80,000 head. Marketing of fed cattle during May totaled 1.76 million head. That's 10% below that of a year ago. Now, Friday's cattle on feed report should be received as another bullish feather for the market to tuck inside his hat, said DTN livestock analyst Shaylee Stewart. The only minute difference that the actual data had compared to the pre-report estimates was the placement data, which came in 2 percentage points higher than originally assumed of the major feeding states. We look at Kansas, where placements were down 3%. Iowa were up 1%, but Texas placements were down 17% compared to a year ago. Oklahoma down 22%. It's likely that both Texas and Oklahoma are seeing such drastic drops in placements because of the import ban on all Mexican cattle. Today's weather brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Here's your forecast.
Sunny and hot over the Buckeye State as we move through the first half of this week. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin. Let's take a look at your Ohio Ag Weather Update. I don't have a lot of moisture in the first part of the week here. We are seeing some moisture try and come together well off to our west and north, coming through Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, northern Illinois, and Michigan. But for today and tomorrow, that offers no threat here. Tomorrow night into early Wednesday, maybe we see a few hit and misses, scattered showers coming across northern parts of Ohio. US 30 northward, we can see a few hundreds to a few tenths. That is all. The rest of the state, I don't think sees anything. But we're also dealing with a little bit of instability Wednesday night into Thursday, and then also Thursday and Friday. So I think everybody has a chance at seeing some moisture for the second half of the week. Combined, do I think we're looking at a lot? No. I probably am looking at a tenth to half an inch combined, with coverage around 80% of the Buckeye State for Wednesday through Friday. I'm meteorologist Ryan Martin.
And thanks, Ryan. Joining me is Gary Puckett, Director of Communication and Industry Engagement for Ohio Corn and Wheat. Gary, thanks for taking time to visit with us. We're probably on the front end of what people call summer driving season. As we look to all of that, how important will be pushing the blue handle in the minds of those motorists?
Dale, thanks for having me. And the answer is it's going to be a huge effort to push unleaded 88 this summer driving season. It's really one of the first times ever we have actually had a concentrated, purposeful, strategic push for unleaded 88 across the state of Ohio directly to consumers. You know, summer driving season is all about adventure, and summer adventure actually starts by grabbing the blue handle when you go to the gas pump. We here at Ohio Corn and Wheat have said it's time to set the record straight on unleaded 88. Consumers can experience the benefits for themselves, and then they'll never want to go back to the other fuel blends.
My wife is an example of that. Never had to tell her about it again, and ever since then, she's got the map in her phone and knows what her options are coming up the road.
And when you talk to people about it, hey, not only can you save money at the pump, but it will not damage your car. It's actually better for your engine. Unleaded 88's better for the air, too, because it burns cleaner. So once moms and families and younger drivers and consumers start experiencing those benefits, they're never going to want to go back. Why would anybody pay more for gas when you don't have to, when you know it's better for your car and you see better performance? So we're getting that word out to consumers across the state of Ohio during these busy summer driving months.
And thank you, Gary Puckett, Director of Communications and Industry Engagement for Ohio Corn and Wheat, for the reminder to go get the blue handle. Public listening sessions on the future of the waters of the U.S. rule have wrapped up, and the Trump administration said it plans to have the rule completed by the end of the year. Now, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency recently completed public listening sessions as part of ongoing work on a new waters of the U.S. definition. EPA and Army intend to issue a proposed rule in the coming months that will prioritize clear interpretation and implementation of the law, reducing red tape, cutting overall permitting cost, and lowering the cost of doing business in communities across the country while protecting the nation's waters from pollution. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers said this past week in a news release. Throughout the sessions, there was a clear divide between what agriculture and industry groups and environmental groups are seeking in WOTUS, as ag reps said they wanted clearer definitions, while environmental groups asked for no changes to the rule. The continued back and forth of definition and redefinitions from the administration to administration over the past 20 years now has led to what currently is a patchwork of differing versions of the WOTUS definition from state to state because of a series of legal cases. When it comes to the definition of waters of the United States, EPA has an important responsibility to protect water resources while setting clear and practical rules of the road that accelerate economic growth and opportunity, EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin said in a statement. These listening sessions gave a real-world perspective as we work toward a proposed rule that follows the Supreme Court decision in Sackett. It ends the regulatory uncertainty and ping-pong that has persisted for years, supports our nation's farmers who feed and fuel the world, and advances the agency's Powering the Great American Comeback initiative. Back with more after this.
Get the equipment and trucks you need at the Ritchie Brothers' next Great Lakes Regional event on June 26th and 27th. This absolute unreserved auction will feature online bidding, and items are located in Columbus, Chicago, and Detroit. Choose from over 2,000 items, including a wide selection of construction equipment, truck, tractors, and more. Don't miss Ritchie Brothers' Great Lakes Regional event on June 26th and 27th. For more details, visit rbauction.com. Again, that's rbauction.com.
Think biodiesel is just another fuel? Think again. Biodiesel is Ohio innovation on the move. Clean, green, and built to keep diesel engines running strong. It's an engine booster, a soybean supporter, and an environmental champion all in one. Every gallon reduces emissions, strengthens Ohio farms, and powers your ride. Drive with purpose. Choose biodiesel. Learn how at soyohio.org. Joining me is Adam Heffron, the Executive Director of the Ohio Expo Center. You might know it as the home of the Ohio State Fair. If we look out the window here, what all is changing here at the State Fairgrounds?
What isn't changing? It is remarkable what goes on outside of my window. Last week I counted 4 8-ton rollers, 3 loaders, 3 excavators, 2 mini excavators, and a dump truck right outside of my office window.
You couldn't see any cranes? Because every time I get out 71, it's like, how many cranes are still working out there?
Right. Yeah, there is fence to fence, north to south, east to west. There's construction everywhere on the ground. It's remarkable. It'll spin your head. There's so much happening here. It's incredible. Underground, above ground, new buildings, add-ons, additions. It's a beautiful sight to see all the work being done to improve this facility.
Now, Mother Nature's been a little rough on farmers trying to get crops in. Are your guys working here saying they're on schedule, or what are they talking about?
Yeah, they're right on target. They haven't missed many days at all. You know, we've had some rain, but some of the trades will start working, others will continue on, but there has been really no pause, and they're keeping to it. They're working long days, sometimes on a Saturday, so all indications are they're right on target, and we'll be buttoning up the end of June and getting ready for the Good Guys Car Show and then the State Fair, and then they'll start constructing again right after the State Fair is over.
What are some of the notable buildings that people recognize that have already had their facelift and will be done for this year's fair?
Well, people won't recognize is our new main gate. Up at the north end, at Gate 1 is the Cardinal Gate, we call it, and that's entirely new and different. It is wonderful. It's a 150-foot by 100-foot structure. It's called a tinsel. It's a really tight fabric with uplighting, ticket booths on either side. So that's a new entry. That's a great way to enter the fair. and to see really our front door is going to be new and exciting for us this year. And up on that end of the grounds, the north end of grounds, which is north of 17 and south of that gate I just referenced, is all new hardscaping. So that area between Kasich Hall, Rhodes, and Lauschie is all entirely new hardscaping and surface treatments up there, and utilities as well.
And still highlight a lot of the youth functions up there?
Oh, absolutely. Road Center is exactly what it's been in the past. Lauschie is going to be awesome this year. We're going to kick off youth exploration again with a little theme towards 250, the sesquicentennial, easy for me to say, the 250th anniversary, that's an easier way to say it, of our nation. So that's the theme for this year in the Lauschie youth exploration space. And then Kasich will have all the exhibits in there as well. So wonderful sort of rounding of youth exhibits and exhibits in general, competitive exhibits, and food and beverage. Things are looking really nice on that end of the grounds. Still a work in progress as you get south. We have 3 buildings under construction, Showcase and the multi-purpose ag building is under construction. Some other buildings being renovated as well. So those 2 buildings are still being constructed and will be fenced off. You'll see, of course, the superstructures coming out of the ground during the fair this year.
And thank you, Adam Heffron, Executive Director of the Ohio Expo Center and the Ohio State Fair. We'll see you at the fair. Today's market analysis is brought to you by the Louis Dreyfus Company, excited to be building the newest state-of-the-art soybean crush facility in Upper Sandusky, Ohio. For marketing information of your beans to LDC, call 574-566-2113. Here's Ryan Martin.
Grain markets went home last Friday, mostly lower. The week had some positiveness to it as we went through the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday time frame. However, all bets are off based on what happened over the weekend, with the U.S. executing airstrikes on Iranian nuclear sites on Saturday. This is going to be a very interesting start to the week. President Trump initially started talking about a 2-week target for deciding on whether he's going to put action on in Iran. He really blew that out of the water. We saw crude backing off toward the end of last week, but with the airstrikes, crude is expected to jump here through the day today. The openings were anywhere from $3 to $5 to $6 higher. There are concerns for just how much this impacts the entire region and not just in Israel, Iran, and the U.S. For example, the Strait of Hormuz is a main thoroughfare for oil movement for many of OPEC's largest exporters and producers. Shipping lines have recently said that they're still moving through the Strait of Hormuz, but are going to monitor the situation closely. Stock market is going to do all sorts of things through the day today. Dollar and gold could see some strength as we see a flight to safety. I don't know what the market is going to do here over the course of the next couple of days. I will tell you this. Last week, when the rhetoric was ramping up, really our ag commodities didn't pay attention to anything happening in the energies at all. So we're not saying right now whether a stronger energy market or drop in the stock market is going to mean anything that corn, beans, or wheat pay attention to. Remember, in a week, we have the planted acres report that we're going to be having to deal with. So all sorts of things here that we're going to be dealing with through the next 24 to 36 hours. Corn export sales last Friday looked pretty good. It was above, to the high end of the trade guess, and 247% above the normally low 5-year average. So more suggestions of change in an upcoming WASDE, at least on corn exports. I'm Ryan Martin.
And thanks, Ryan. Today's market's brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Overnight at the open, July corn down a penny at 427 3/4. December up a half at 441 3/4. July beans up a penny and a half at 1069 1/2. November up 3 1/4 at $10.64. Now the July wheat is up 1/4 cent at 5.68. September also up 1/4 cent at 5.83 3/4. If you held the July new crop all the way to December, it's up 1/4 cent at $6.06 1/4. In livestock on Friday, June cattle closed down $1.27 at $223.02. August down $1.85 at $209.82. July lean hogs up 60 cents, closing at $112.77, while August was up 45 cents at $112.45. September feeder cattle down $1.57 at $302.22. October down $1.55 at $300.35. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day, everyone. I'm Dale Menyo. This is the Ohio AgNet.